Hi, Paul Hefty here. What I want to do is talk about the triangle O read system with the know-how to process. Again, we'll look at some principles and goals right away, and then we'll go through the read system for both the coach and the quarterback and give you some examples of the three different levels and how we do that. First off, with the teaching point here, you want to teach your offense using this tryout process, using these drills and techniques to help enhance their learning. Second thing is both the coach and the quarterback need to use the principles in the offense so that you can be successful with every play, every time. That's the idea here, is there's no audibles because we are automatically calling one of three plays that attack that defense best every time. And then third, quarterback technique. With post-snap pass read progression, it's really what we're doing is an old triple option read. We do this with the RPOs too. So we're going to focus on a key defender just like we would for the RPOs of a run or a pass, but now in the pass game, we'll bracket that defender with receivers. Again, the quarterback is going to click to the open receiver with his feet by focusing on the defender, not on the receivers. And then if those aren't open, those two, then they will climb the pocket by dragging that back foot forward and get into a hitch progression there. So that's kind of the rhythm we use there. Again, the principles, we've done this a bunch, but number one is always numbers, and the quarterback wants to do this, get in the habit of doing this just as the coach does. If you've got two high safeties, you're just pointing at them there. If you've got one, then the other one's rolled down, it's real simple. So we're going to do this. Then we're going to go right to those outside, hanging on the edge of the box linebackers, again, what we call Mr. Zeros, okay? And then last, we'll come in and point at the mic. The mic, again, if he's splitting the center on one side or the other, is always going to be the play side backer, the direction we're going. Again, angles then, we just want to find a best edge. So you can see once we go down to those Mr. Zeros, we're getting to see if we've got a good edge or not right there. And then when we go to look at the mic, we're looking at our blocking angles. Usually centers around finding that three technique down inside. And then last is field. We want to get offensive numbers to the field because, again, you put speed in space, speed's going to win over scheme. So that's why we want to get great horizontal stretch using these spread formations. Last, our goals. Again, we're going to have good balance where we want to throw the football, but the key here is being able to run the football all the time. Obviously, no turnovers, and then make explosive plays. So we want to create those opportunities. The tryout system, the way it works here, is the coach, number one, is going to signal the formation right away. So this would be a duo right. Again, we'll signal with our opposite hand, the signaler does. So it's easy for the players to process it as they see it. As soon as that happens, the receivers are going to get scattered and get into their proper alignment. The linemen don't worry about any formation. They just go get set on the ball, get their line splits, and their eyes the whole time are recognizing the defense. Again, we talk about just recognizing and talking right away before the play is called. Am I covered by a down lineman or am I uncovered? When we get to the skills, then the quarterback, then once they get aligned, we want to look at that DB or those Mr. Zeros intentions. So if I'm a number one receiver, I'm going to look at the corner across from me. I'm going to look and see if there's a near safety, and then I'm going to go inside and look at that Mr. Zero. Again, we can start to tell by their feet and their eyes if they're a run defender, pass defender, zone, or man. The quarterback then again goes through that simple recognition of safeties. Let's say we've got two high safeties. Okay, then we come down to the Mr. Zeros. Okay, so we can identify, and then into the mic. After that, then they're going to go ahead and look at the coach, and the coach is doing the same process. So now we know what our numbers are, what their intentions are, and again, then they'll signal the play. Again, the coach is going to use that triangle principle where he's going to pick one out of three that fit best to attack the defense that he sees at that time. Again, a second thing you can do is if you call RPOs, again, we say when in doubt to the quarterback, give, because it's a run first type of decision making. When we want to go think pass first, we simply just give an alert cue, and now we can take that same play with no changes, no calls, but we can all be on the same page with the quarterback in our thinking. Step three then, before the ball is snapped, that quarterback one more time is going to make sure they focus and they know exactly who their read key defender is, and then we can go ahead and start the play. When we start to get into RPOs and pass game reads. We just speak of it in these 3 different levels. And the key here is the quarterback on all of this, again, using kind of option, old triple option teaching. He's going to read that defender's depth, and he's going to read his hips. Are they squared up? Are they down the line? Are they turned? So number 1, first level is the defensive line. Typically, this is where we're doing zone reads off that defensive end. Again, if he gets he gets across the line, gets upfield, that depth, we're just going to give it no matter what his shoulders are doing. Again, if he stays on the line of scrimmage, though, and he turns his hips down to run the play, then he's not an athlete to go out to defend people outside. That's when you would keep it. So that's that right into side. Level 2 is what we like to do more of with our RPOs, where we're attacking linebackers, second level. Again, we're going to give all day on RPOs, but what we do here is we say if that linebacker fills, then we're going to drill the pass. So fills, you drill. Level 3 then, safeties. One thing here for recognition, so we're consistent, is we call the onside safety the ox and the backside safety the goat. The corners then, we call the play side, whichever direction we're going. The cat is that corner, and we call the dog the backside. So dog and goat are backside, ox and cat are front side. The big thing we're looking for here then again is we're looking at depth obviously, but then we look at their hips again. We say if a third level defender has their hips square, then they're squatted and they're in no position as we're running a go route to defend that. You're basically throwing to their backside. So we can say there, you're going to throw at their butt if they stay squared because they're beat. And we'll show you some examples of that. The quarterback with most of these now is we're going to throw to open hands. So think of it as the basketball player posting up. They're going to post and put their hand up away from the defender, and you would do the same thing with the throws. An example of this is the back shoulder fade. Again, the quarterback wants to focus and stay on rhythm. We use for most of our play action where there's very little technique, we call a rocker step, where they actually are going to rock forward, present the ball, step forward, and then they'll rock back and right into their throwing motion. So we can be very deliberate and slow with the fake. This is our read phase, and again, we're back and throwing. Again, with our spread system, the quarterback sets a little deeper. That's one of the reasons we can do this then too. They set with their heels at 6 yards. Again, if there's nothing there when we do our drop box, now we go 1, 2, 3 into our drop back. Now, since we start at 6, we're at that 7 to 8 yard range. If nobody's open on rhythm, this is where we would climb by dragging our back foot, and we can click and our eyes move left and right, right and left to find that open receiver. Here's an example of when we're doing that recognition. So here's the 2 safeties. If the play side is to this direction, there's your ox and your cat play side. Again, the linebackers are split, so the Mike would be play side here. That makes him the Sam, obviously the Will. Dog on the backside, and then we have a goat. What we're looking for mostly is when we have 2 high safeties, we know the most they can have is 7 in the box. Then we want to check these Mr. Zeros, and we say, do we have access to throw the ball by alignment to our wide receivers, or do we not have access? And that's the ANA, access, no access. So access for us means we can throw, because we're thinking throw first. No access means that they're out of the box, and now we should have good numbers for our run game. Again, we can use an alert cue to change our RPOs into PRO thinking, meaning same action, same everything, but you're telling the quarterback now to think pass first and run second. Here's some examples of first level now, reading that defensive end with split zone. You're going to see here his hips stay square to the line of scrimmage, okay? But since he stays square, now we can give the ball all day because he's in no position to go play the running back. So again, defensive end, stays square, he gets upfield. Again, there's your depth. So once he comes across the line of scrimmage, we know we can give it. With the second one, now he's going to stay right on the line of scrimmage, but his hips are going to turn in towards the ball. So now he is not an athlete or in a position to be an athlete and turn and redirect, and you'll see now where the quarterback can give it. So he stays on, there's our depth. He turns his hips, and there's simple give for 15 yards with the quarterback. These are ninth graders doing this. So again, these are things you can do. Again, in your teaching, that's probably the most important thing. Even if you're not a big zone team, this is a great way to start your practice for 5 minutes every day because it just teaches great fundamentals. Your linemen are going to be working on zone steps and scheme, just good fun fit up and drive blocking and double teams. And your RPO with the split zone, we do a Penn State split zone. So the backside X is just running an out or a go. So it's great there. One quarterback is just throwing that right on rhythm. There's no mesh fake or anything. The back then is paired up with another back and just working on when they don't get the ball of going in and blocking a linebacker coming in. In the middle, we're going to go ahead and do our normal then read that we just showed on film. So you as the coach will play that defensive end. So you can be working depth. Okay, do they get across the line of scrimmage, stay on the line of scrimmage, or do they keep their hips square, or do they turn it down the line? Okay, simple reads, and we're off. And then the third quarterback now is throwing this bubble that we throw to the two receiver side. So we're working on our blocking, we're getting our bubble, and we're off. It's a great way to just start your practice. And again, you can get very good at zone even if you don't want to be a zone team. When we go to second level, now we're talking these linebackers. So here's an example of where you're running one back power. If the wheel fills, we would go ahead and throw behind it. Again, defensive recognition. We've got two high safeties, the three backers. Right now, there's no access out here. So now we know we've got 6 in the box with 6 to block. Good numbers. Here's an example of it now. One high safety. So on a film, we're reading the will on this play, and this is the glance route on the backside by the X. Again, these are ninth graders running this. I'll go ahead and show you on film. And again, you can see right off rhythm with the rocker, and they're off. Really simple, real effective. You're seeing a lot of college teams use this skinny slant glance concept. And then last, here's an example of Penn State doing it back in the spring game in 2016 when Moorhead started to install this system. Here you are, we're going to see the same thing. We got two high safeties. Now we're going here to the right. There's the Mike because they're split. There's no Sam. So that makes the ox, and this is what a lot of teams are doing, is they're going to roll that safety down in. He becomes the Sam. So now we can say he fills, you drill. Again, we'll play this here quick. Again, you can see now he's starting to come down. He fills, and you're off. Nice glance, skinny slant. Going to the strong side this time. So again, with teaching, we do this what we call just your alert drill. Now you can be working your different schemes. Again, this would be one back power. And then your receivers and your quarterbacks are all working now those routes off of it. This is where we would go with the alert, where now it becomes pass thinking first. And we can be throwing with two quarterbacks, still making the reads. You as the coach, as the defender, we're off. The backs go over with the line, and you can have a coach actually play this quarterback or another quarterback if you've got them. Now you're just working your inside run schemes there. Again, here's an example now, the last one going to level 3, where we're looking at secondary. And this one here, this is an example of where the dog, we're going to run 4 verts. The backside receiver here is just going to run his takeoff route. You're going to see he's going to backpedal. But again, this is where he's square and the receiver's even with him. So if he's even, I'm leaving, he's gone, and this is what we mean. You're going to throw to his backside, so you're going to throw at his butt, means he's beat. Let's go ahead and watch this one here now too. Again, the quarterback will do this simple rocker, fake, off inside, down, he's up, no drop, and we're off. Simple read, consistent reads, but you can see now the timing, we're getting rid of the ball quick too. Okay. So here's an example of it in the 4 verts. Again, this is the first pass play we actually like to put in because it just teaches the read system easily. And then again, this is a great explosive play, so we want to get lots of reps from day 1 on it. Again, level 3 teaching, then we do what we call a drill 25, meaning we're going to have 2 quarterbacks, 5 receivers. Now the H-back comes over and gets to be a receiver. Again, your linemen are going to now work their pass protection, so you can have the back there. Again, this is an example of the coach being the QB because there's no ball being thrown. And now coaches come out and be these different reads, and we can have one quarterback going through all 3 of the first 4 verts, with the backside quarterback still reading this with his eyes, but now this is where he would climb the pocket, click, and go up here and read that backside dog safety, cornerback. The key here with all of these reads is balance. I think that's what you want to do. Number two, Mike Ayers, who was head of research and development with the Packers and the Vikings for over 30 years. He was actually my offensive coordinator back in college, where I learned a lot of these principles that we're still using. He had this data where you have 12 or more yards on runs and 16 or more yards on passes. Those are considered explosive plays. If you do that, if you have more explosive plays than your opponent, you have less turnovers. In the NFL, over those 30 years, they showed you're going to win 91% of your time. So that's what we want to do. Everybody does. But again, you can see how if we're consistent using one read system for our quarterbacks, they have a better chance of actually being good at it and being successful with it. Thanks.